Early voting is underway for issues and candidates across the state ahead of the May 6th primary. And in Toledo, voters are narrowing down choices for mayor. Sophia Periconi joins us in studio tonight. You talked to each candidate about two big issues here in Toledo, Sophia.
Yeah, Melissa, there are currently three candidates for mayor: incumbent Mayor Wade Kapszukiewicz, Roberto Torres, and Harold Harris. Voters have until next Tuesday to narrow those choices down to two. I asked all three about how they plan to fight violence in our city and a declining population.
Come November, Toledo voters will decide if they want a new mayor or re-elect the current one, Wade Kapszukiewicz. But before that, a May 6th primary. Voters will narrow down the current three choices, Kapszukiewicz, Roberto Torres, and Harold Harris, to two.
Really what I'm focused on is just continuing the progress that Toledo has made over the last several years.
The incumbent mayor has served 2 terms. Last November, voters passed Issue 9, allowing Toledo mayors to serve 3 consecutive terms instead of 2. Mayor Kapszukiewicz says under him, crime across the board is way down. He credits a growing police force.
It has grown from about 580 officers, which is what it was when I became mayor, to about 640, which is what it is now. It allows our officers to get out of the car, their squad cars, walk around, walk the beat, develop relationships with kids and businesses.
And investment in youth programs.
To the tune of $6 million over 3 years, 100 free programs a year every year, and that's another reason I think you're seeing these numbers move in the right direction, because we have invested in youth in such a degree.
But what has he done about Toledo's declining population? According to the U.S. Census Bureau, between April 1st, 2010 and April 1st, 2020, the city lost more than 15,000 people. Kapszukiewicz says it's a housing issue.
Studies indicate that there is demand for people to want to live in Toledo. We have a supply problem. If we had more units online, we think that there would be 20,000 more Toledoans than what we have right now.
Candidate Roberto Torres, who's a veteran, says growing the population is more so about investment.
Downtown does need to have its buildings occupied, does need to have a lot of the vacant and abandoned buildings occupied. But we also need to attend to the neighborhoods. So clean, safe, sustainable neighborhoods. That means that we need to rid slum and blight. We need to clean our neighborhoods.
He's worked under 6 mayoral administrations across cities in Ohio and Michigan, most recently in economic growth under Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan.
I would bring investment not only from within the city, but from outside the city to come in. And I'm looking at development as a region. Not just necessarily looking at just the geography of Toledo, but the proximity to Detroit, the proximity to Ann Arbor really creates opportunities for Toledo, unlike what has been imagined in the past.
Torres says if investment increases, crime could decrease.
Wherever you allow the existence of vacant businesses, of vacant and abandoned buildings, when you have that, that's going to add to people thinking that the community really doesn't care about that neighborhood, and so you begin to see violence, you begin to see criminal activity.
Meanwhile, fellow veteran candidate Harold Harris says crime is tied to Toledo's plummeting population. Better known as the sign guy, Harris campaigned against the issue, allowing mayors a 3rd consecutive term. His goal is to strike out violence by going to what he calls the source.
My whole thing is, I want to clean up the gangs, I want to clean up the drug dealers, I want to root them out, not just pick up a couple of drug dealers on the street and pick up a couple of guns and say, hey, we confiscated, $30,000 in drugs today, we picked up 100 guns over in the North End. No. I want to break down the whole structure.
How? If elected, he says it starts with him, the chief of police, and the city's safety director.
Don't break anybody's rights, but I want you to come down on them, I want you to be on them. I don't want them to move in this city without you on top of them until they get tired and decide to leave and go somewhere else.
Harris says once crime goes down, population will go up.
If you go into those communities where they have gunfire and killings, you don't see little kids riding their bicycles. You don't see people jogging down the street. You don't see people just sitting outside on their porch talking to neighbors and on the corner having conversations, because they could be a victim. When these young men decide to spray bullets and they're emptying 50 shell casings or 100 shell casings, you just have to be collateral damage.
In Toledo, Sophia Periconi, WTOL 11.